If you're looking to grow as a freelance digital marketer, then you're watching the right video. A few days ago, I sat down with my friend, a founder of MyGrowthGorilla SEO agency, which specifically focuses on one thing called link building. So we sat down, we just spoke about his start and where he's right now. And this video is particularly very useful for any starting freelancer that has been doing this for a few years but hasn't seen any proper success. So he started with his first project at $400, and right now he's at 20,000 monthly revenue, and looking to grow to 50 by the end of 2020. In this video, we spoke about how he picked the niche, what is he focused on, how he actually defined the problem that he's solving for his clients, how he started getting first clients, and everything that was in between. This is a super powerful video, and a lot of freelancers, I would even go and say that the absolute majority of freelance digital marketers and just any freelancers should watch this video, because it really helps to understand what can you do to successfully start your career, freelancing career, and grow it to this level. Enjoy the interview. Just one thing, I'm really sorry about the video quality there. My camera on my laptop is not that great, but we're gonna get that improved in future. Enjoy the video, leave comments and questions, we'll be there.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about how to start being freelance digital marketer. And in this interview, basically going to talk about Alan, his agency, and the way he's started doing things, the way he's doing things now, the stuff that he's doing, that he's not doing, and how it's all working out for him. So yeah, Alan, if you can briefly tell us about what exactly are you doing?
Mm-hmm. So, all right, we are a link building agency for software companies, so SaaS, software as a service. So what we do is basically take the content that is published on the client sites, and we find ways to pitch it to other websites in a way to kind of like promote it and build links to that content, because as you probably know, so it's a big part of SEO, link building. So yeah, it's basically just like a way of promoting the client's content in a way that basically other people are going to link to that content and make it rank higher in Google. And so we like specialize in software companies. That's basically just a like a way that I'm using to find better clients. But like if we find clients that have good content and they are not software companies, we might take on it, take them on as well. Okay. So it's not like 100% sure thing.
And just to make it really clear and for everybody, it's just link building is a very specific part of SEO. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there is SEO, search engine optimization, and then link building is just a part of SEO. So it's I don't want to call it a tiny part because it's hugely important, but it's just one part of SEO. And as Alan mentioned, they're clearly focused on working specifically with software as a service companies, which have a very specific type of marketing that require mostly coming from organic search. Mm-hmm. How did you pick the niche when you first started?
So I think at the beginning it was just a matter of because I think that like myself as an agency and using a ton of software products, I was familiar with the niche. I kind of knew what their marketing channel were, and I knew that they were focusing a lot on search engine optimization. And so the second thing is that I really liked the kind of people that worked in SaaS, because for the most part they're like young people. They're like, you know, the classic, Silicon Valley driven kind of guy. And so I really like working with this kind of people, and I also like the fact that they know what SEO is, they know what link building is, so they're like knowledgeable in this matter, and I don't have to do the hard sell and kind of like push what I'm doing because they know what I'm talking about. And so it was pretty like kind of easy to explain my process and everything that we do in a way that they understand what we do.
Yeah. So essentially you found the market, you found the problem that they need to have resolved, which is basically link building, and then you have the people you like working with, you have your psychodemographics, already also aligned, and all of these things are together. And as I see it on your Facebook feed, getting you pretty happy, pretty successful as a result of that.
Yep. Yeah. So like another thing that I can mention is like to kind of focus on the niche. I started doing like interviews to people. So yeah, I just decided like like, okay, I want to work with software companies. Let's see what they are looking for. So I started like talking to people. I've interviewed a couple of founders and marketers in SaaS. And this is basically how I found out what their main problem was. Because at the beginning, I kind of wanted to build like a productized service with like content audits and like on-page stuff, maybe some help with the content. But like in the end, most people were just telling me that the hardest part for them and the only part that they didn't have like inside the team was the link building. And so yeah, that was basically how I how I ended up deciding of offering the link building. And also it derived probably from the fact that like at the time I was mostly doing link building for this one affiliate website that I had. And so I kind of had my own systems. I came up with a lot of like processes, systems and tools, and it was just a matter of like taking all of that and putting it on the client website basically.
So it's kind of crazy because before the interviews, we've covered that people from, based on my research, by me looking at like all the digital marketing freelancers and anybody doing any self-employed work, people are really not focused on just one thing, and they seem to be doing this. Like we've talked about, like SEO is a huge industry, and link building is a huge part of it. And within link building, there are like the SaaS companies, there are other different clients. So it's hugely important to just focus on this one thing and actually figure out exactly what their problem is. And you did a extremely rare thing. You actually went out there and spoke to your target audience. Yeah. So at the time you were just theorizing. And kind of figure out, oh man, this is their problem that they want to have resolved, and they're going to pay for this as well. So it's painful enough problem for them.
And so like like I'm kind of like an introvert person as well, so it wasn't like super easy for me to do the interviews and stuff. But yeah, like you'd be surprised how people are willing to discuss about like their problems, the issues that they have at work and stuff. So it's just a matter of like sending people like a message on LinkedIn and telling them that you're doing like research for a new service that you want to launch. So there's no pressure, like you're not selling anything. It's just a matter of asking and talking to people. And yeah, I think like also being helpful. So basically like let's say, for example, that I was doing one of these interviews and this guy comes to me telling me that he's having like a specific issues with one of their content and stuff. So I was like providing value as well in this interview. So maybe like giving him some tips on what to do and stuff like this. So it's just a very casual conversation, but you'll be surprised with the knowledge that you come out like from this stuff, because there's a lot of tips that you can gain. Like basically like you said, so understanding the problems and diving deeper into what people needs. It's a huge important part, very important part.
And sometimes, I don't know if that happened to you, like I have a few people doing this right now, and we are seeing that even at this stage, during the research stage, they might already receive their first clients because they're not being pushy. They actually go out there, investigate what the problem is, and
exactly. So that was also kind of like I've got my first client, I think, if I remember correctly. So I was doing these interviews and stuff. I talked to this client who was looking for link building, and I kind of explained how I was doing it. So he was like impressed by my process and everything. So I think that was the time when we kind of discussed the possibility of working together. So at the time I didn't have any client and it was just me. So, but at the same time, I had my affiliate website making some kind of income. So I wasn't like like I didn't have the pressure of getting like a ton of money at the time. So what I've done was basically just like get this client on board, and I think we started with a very heavy discounted price. So I think it was like $400 per month.
And what do you charge right now? So we're clear on this.
So right now I charge $3,000 per month.
That's the minimum. Basically package price.
So I basically just started at $400 per month with this client because it was the budget that he told me that he had. And so I just thought, why not? It would be the chance for me to practice this stuff with like other people instead of doing it on my own website. And it would be the chance of practicing like client management and
just talking to the client and
exactly, like talking to the client, managing the expectations, managing the deliverables, and all of this kind of stuff. So I just thought I'd basically like give it a go. From that point on, it just grew basically. So I think it's important to not be too focused on the income, like especially if you have
it's hard at times.
So if you can try not to be too focused on the income that you're making at the beginning, and try to be more focused on learning and gaining some real experience with clients.
That's definitely it's the path on to becoming the proper. Actually, this is already grown from freelance digital marketer all the way to the entrepreneur, and there's a big difference. And talking about the difference, one of the #1 challenges for freelancers in the digital marketing field is actually getting clients. Getting clients steadily, getting quality clients. Because $400 budget. There
it's
people
not very sustainable.
And people you're dealing with, they're like different quality people. So if you can break it down, especially at the early stage of your venture, when you were starting out, like how exactly did you get maybe your first 3 clients, and then going forward, what happened that now you have this consistent flow of clients, or if you can elaborate?
So like I'm not like really sure if this is going to be a helpful like answer to your question,
as long as it's honest.
Because basically, like for me, it grew very like organically. I started doing these interviews and I got the first client like this. Then the first client gave me a testimonial and something, so the word kind of started to spread. And what I was doing, which I think was probably the most helpful thing, I started going into some specific like Facebook groups that were like related to my niche. So there's this Facebook group for software companies called SaaS Growth Hacks, which has a ton of members, a ton of like founders and marketers are in there. So I just went in there, and basically what I was doing like almost every day, I was getting in there and searching in the search bar of the group for like SEO or link building, so keywords that are related to what I do. And I was finding all of the posts, so questions that people had, like problems that they had, and I was trying to like answer to these questions and being helpful, provide value, but at the same time also showing them that I knew what I was talking about. So from this alone, I got a few people that messaged me back and they were interested in what I was doing. So then I got on other calls with them. I learned more about what they needed. I perfected also like even the sales page on my website. Like if you take a look at it, it's basically just like, it's basically like if somebody had told me exactly what their problem were, and I put them on the sales page in a way that if somebody like gets there and reads the sales page, they're basically like, like this is perfect for me.
You're ticking all the boxes. And I just want to, because I know exactly what you're talking about, so I want to like point this out for anybody watching this. It's this message that Alan created on his page is basically all these iterations that he received as the feedback from talking to his target audience, and clearly understanding what their language is like, what their problems are like, and like really dissecting what is that they're looking for. And then Just in this message.
Like I can maybe share the page now if you want. We can like give it.
Yeah, sure. We can have a quick look
through the page. Yeah, let me see.
Because while Alan is looking, because once you take the boxes, once you have enough of interactions with your target audience, and this is why it's so important to focus on your target audience. Once you have that clear positioning, it like you almost don't need to sell.
Exactly.
People look at it, they're like, man, this is perfect. This suits our picture, suits our image perfectly.
So yeah. And so one thing that I should point out is that like I've done all of these by myself, so it's not by any means like perfect or anything. I'm not a web designer, so this is just something that I came up, and also because I really like the 80s and all this stuff, so I gave it my unique spin on this, and this is something that we can talk about later as well, because I think it's important to have like personality as well. So yeah, like as you can see, there's like it's 3 parts basically. This is all stuff that I gained from the interviews. So it says you run a software companies and chances are you have a small team, and this is stuff that I've learned from the call. So the fact that I have a small team,
beautiful.
And this is also like a criteria that I use, because I look for companies that have at least like 10 to 15 clients, but less than 50. Because I know they're not like too small that they can't pay me, but not even too big that it's basically like layers and layers of people that I need to talk like with and so on. So yeah, a small team, and they create content monthly or weekly or even daily. This is another very important stuff, like part, because I want to know that they are producing content already. Because we don't handle the content creation, so we need them to already be creating and publishing content. And yeah, basically they are just like pumping out content because everybody's doing it, but basically the content is just like sitting there and not doing anything. And this is like, yeah, I think this was like an actual phrase that somebody used. The fact that the content just sit there for people to find, and this is usually not the case. I think it was like an exact phrase that somebody had used.
This is amazing. You've done a very impressive job.
Like on a call. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we get basically onto the problem. I dive like a bit deeper here. So who's got time to build links? Most SaaS companies, like they have the product team and the marketing team, but the marketing team is focusing on like other like channels, like PR, maybe like ads, and creating the content as well. So they don't have time to specifically do the link building part. And especially they have been burned maybe by low quality SEO expert. Yeah, this is like an exact phrase as well. This guy told me this. Low quality SEO expert would spend billable hours doing things, but never provided like any real quality results.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the problems. And this exactly is basically what we then do. Oops. Great product deserves to be found. This is like a catchphrase that I like. But SEO for the big guys, yeah, this is not like another problem. So they think that it's like really very expensive. And so we're convenient. Here I kind of like specify the fact that we don't do link building methods that like also require new content. So we work with what they have already, and this should be like cheaper for them because they don't have to pay for guest post article as an extra. And so basically all of their budget can be used for like,
so literally
basically promoting the content.
So literally every single sentence is there. It has its purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So I try to make it like as short and as punchy as possible.
Yeah.
Because I know that people don't spend a lot of time on pages, but this is and then just dive deeper into what we do
and this stuff,
etc.
Brilliant. And thank you for sharing this. It's
no problem.
It's really impressive. Like this
problem. Thank you.
This is the top level stuff that very few people do. So
Thank you.
Really cool. So at the moment, it's really important to, once again, yeah. So you pick the niche, you find their problem, by talking to the people, yeah, talking to the people that are inside your niche. And I think what's really important here is that you, even though you had some previous experience, you knew the market somehow, you still went out there and actually talked to the guys, because you might have certain ideas in your mind, and you might think, oh yeah, I know this, but in
Yeah.
reality is that I've this is not the case, or they're like focused on something else. And
Yeah,
then
yeah, it's very important to always like questions like the assumptions that you have, and never be sure of anything.
yeah,
Especially in this market, because everything changes a lot.
and once you pick the niche and find the problem, you go out there, you give before you take, yeah, basically interact with those people. This is really important, because say if you had like more than one niche, say you're doing SEO and PPC, this is like a lot of people on LinkedIn that I've seen, like they're trying to be jack of all trades. It's really hard to then focus on one specific thing. And if you don't focus, like you can't really grow, you can't systemize your processes, because they're different. There's new things you have to talk about all the time. And
Yeah.
let's dig further into this, because I think this is important. Can you explain, from I know that you run like link building, there are different strategies, there are different tactics of acquiring links from different websites. How many, I know the answer, but how many tactics and strategies do you use within MyGrowthGorilla?
Yeah, so we just use one, basically.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we focused on one service, one kind of client, and one tactic, basically.
And this is
which is
insane. Yeah.
which is basically the simplest thing possible, but it works. I'm all up for like simplicity and making things
Yeah. And
as easy as you can.
and what's the benefit of this is that you can essentially start breaking your process into standardized parts, and then you just offshore them. Yeah. You have VAs now. What's
Yeah,
your team like now?
so the team is me, 2 full-time contractors, and 3 part-time contractors now. Yeah.
Wow, impressive. So like there we go. And so right now you're in this management position basically. So you're not a freelance digital marketer anymore. You're a proper entrepreneur. And
yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to call myself an entrepreneur yet, but
I'll call it.
It's fine. I mean, yeah, like the goal for this business from the beginning was to kind of get myself like kind of out of it, and so that I could dedicate myself to like my passions and maybe like more creative stuff as well. And I'm still working towards that, because I still have to spend like a few hours a day on this to do, because right now how this works is I basically do this strategic part.
Yes.
At the beginning of every month and every like week, I kind of do like the strategy like for every campaign, and then the other guys take over. So I have like 2 teams basically. There's the link prospector guys, who basically find the websites and qualify them to make sure that they are like quality website and relevant to the client target website. And then there's the outreach management team, which basically just send the emails, create the templates, and negotiate and get the links live.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me right now it's about like 4 or 5 hours a day still of work, especially. And the most part for now is it's mostly admin stuff and client management.
How many clients have you got at this stage, so we have a bit of an idea?
Yeah, so we have 9 now. There's one more starting next month, and I have a few on the wait list. So my goal is to get, so right now we are at about 20K per month, and my goal would be to get to 50K per month by the end of this year. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And we kind of skipped through this stage. So you got your initial clients from the Facebook groups, but ever since, like, how is it still the same? Do you spend the same amount of time in Facebook doing this stuff, or is it like they're somehow coming to you?
So basically, as I mentioned, it grew organically. The fact is that the agency is still pretty young, because I started it like a year and some months ago. So it's still very early, and I still have some like I don't know how to call it, like the feedback, like a feedback effect from what I've done last year on those Facebook groups, and also I've published some guest posts on kind of bigger websites. So people still find those articles and come to me from those. So I'm not doing anything. I haven't been doing anything for the past 6 months, I think, to find clients. So it's all still coming from that, and that's the beauty of it as well. Because if you do this stuff well, it's organic, and you keep getting people coming to you. Basically inbound. But to do this, I think it's very important that you have personality. As I was mentioning before. So I think my website is kind of like unique in a way, because I get a ton of people, like the first thing that they told me is like, I love the look. Like the look of your website. It's very 80s. I love that stuff as well. So it's kind of like, so I guess the fact that my target market is almost the same age as me. So I think they kind of like the same things, you know. So it's very appealing to them, and I think it's a good combination for this. So I get a ton of people that are interested, like just like because they like my personality and my website and stuff, and then we dive deeper, like obviously into the problems they have. But that's a very important first touch point, I think. So if you can find something that's unique about you, then maybe some other people can have in common. That's a nice thing that can boost the inbound.
I guess it goes down to this psychographics thingy, right? So it's not about like their age or like where they work, but it's this kind of stuff. Oh, do you like Back to the Future? Kind of stuff. Like, oh yeah, you like it. There we go. We have this point of connection, and it's actually a brilliant movie to associate yourself with, because it's so great. There's so many people love it, and it's like
it's a very happy movie. So people kind of know that I'm like a positive guy, and like I'm easy to work with. I'm more like a consultant than like an agency guy that's just there to do the work, you know. So I kind of help them. So like even if my client come to me like someday with some weird question on their content, I might like take a look at it and just help them. So I don't just try to fix like exactly on what we do. I try to help as much as we can.
That's a really beautiful mentality, and I see it's paying the dividends. Okay. I think it's also important to mention a little bit we've touched it as well, like the inbound stuff. I think you've mentioned you've done some guest posts, but you also did, and I know this, you did the podcast with this one guy.
So I've done this one podcast. I've done an article, but I think for the most part is just the networking that I've done, the Facebook group stuff, some guest posts.
You feel this is the biggest impact for the client?
I think so. And also, one very important thing, I think, so if you have, like most people in digital marketing, I think that you probably have bought like training courses as well. So I bought like a ton of training courses. I'm part of a lot of like memberships and all of that stuff. So I think like one good tip that I can give maybe is to also get your money's worth in these things by like trying to network with these people. Because especially if you join a course that's made by like important people in your market, something like this, it's very important to like try to know them better, like personally as well. So even though it might seem weird, like try to like talk to them, like to the teacher of this training course, because the chances are that this guy knows other people, like a ton of people, especially if they're kind of big in the market. So try to like get your face like in front of them, so you know, and that you're like practicing what they teach, and that you're good at it, and like chances are that you might get like referrals and stuff from them as well. So that's another thing that I've done. I'm part of this group called Traffic Think Tank, which is a Slack private community, and there's a ton of people in there. It's a great like mix of people. So there's SEOs, there's like marketers of every kind, and I've actually found like 3 clients just from that group.
Brilliant.
basically just because I was doing the same thing. So I was going into the like the link building channel, and I was talking about my stuff. I was like asking questions, like giving value and all, like the same stuff that I was doing into the free Facebook group. Yeah, you can basically do that into like the paid groups that you're part of, and that will work as well the same.
Yeah, it's important to say that you shouldn't like try to sell right away. Like really
exactly.
Just get to know the person, and eventually, and I see this a lot myself, as I'm now also going through LinkedIn and just talking to people. I start talking to people, and I'm just really finding conversing with them very, very interesting. And then at some stage they just ask me, oh, you can pitch me your stuff now, by the way. I am actually interested in what you have to offer. I'm like, oh, sorry, forgot. So
it's very it's like curious to see just how organically like these conversations can go to what you actually wanted them to go. Like even though that wasn't like your main goal from the beginning, but eventually, like if you're helping people, providing value, and just being curious, I think it's important to ask a lot of questions and try to actually like personally get to know people and show them that you're interested and not just there to publish an article or do a podcast, something like this.
For sure. The one of the final probably questions I have, because we all got to go. Now you're at around, as I got it, 20K a month, and you want to go to 50 by the end of this year. How is your at this stage? How do you see your strategy changing, or is it staying the same? Because it's quite of a leap, right? It's 100 plus 150% increase in the revenue.
So I think that like right now we got the system down, and I kind of know how many clients my people can manage, and so I kind of know that basically like if I like add like 2 or 3 more people, I can get to like X more clients, so that's the first thing. So know your numbers and know how much like how many clients you can handle with how many people, and know the revenue as well, the profit as well. That's really important. And the second thing is, as I mentioned, right now I'm basically doing like 80% is just admin work. So the first step, I'm trying to find like a VA or an assistant that's going to help me with that, like the admin stuff, so they can kind of like remove myself from all that. And then I think I'm going to try at least to dedicate myself to do some outbound, like lead generation. So I'm probably going to look into like
very important point, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, because
no problem.
I'm just talking to people, and it seems interesting, because like freelancers at the, I don't want to say bottom level, because there are like different levels of this, but a lot of people get work from referrals. And then many think that this is the best strategy, but a referral can only bring you a type of a client that they are themselves. So if you work with somebody for $500, they are probably going to bring you somebody who's worth just about the same. And the bigger agencies and like really professional guys, like even if they have inbound channels all set up, they still go out there and do a lot of outbound work.
Exactly. I think it's really important to kind of have like a steady stream of people coming to you, so that then you can kind of vet them and have calls with them to see if they're like qualified leads. But like the problem with the inbound stuff is that like sooner or later, if you're like, especially if you're gonna stop doing it like I've done, because I kind of stopped doing that, like that's gonna die down. So you're not gonna have those anymore. It's not gonna last forever. And I think that if I can so basically like it's gonna be an experiment, because I've never done it. But if I can try to get to like a phase where I know that if I send, for example, 10 cold emails and I can get like 2 leads, that's a very like strategic approach that I can use. So it's probably like a better way to get like a steady stream of clients that I know that I can trust on.
It's more predictable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more predictable, and I'm still gonna like do the so the guest post and stuff, the inbound stuff, because it's something that I also like. So writing about what I do is something that I like.
Yeah.
But like you said, to get to that level, so 50K per month, yeah, I think you kind of need to have like a more predictable system to be able to do that, especially in a short like period of time.
Yeah, that's an ambitious goal in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right, Alan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I hope this video will help future or existing digital freelancers do an amazing job and do it as soon as possible and earn as much money as possible and enjoy doing this. So thank you for sharing all your.
Yeah, sure. So I just want to say, like, if anybody in your group has like questions and stuff, they can email me at my email, which is alan@mygrowthgorilla.com.
Yeah,
and I'll be happy to help people.
Yeah, anybody with link building and with at least 3K, Alan is your man. All right.
Thank you.
All right.